Just going straight into it, fuck it. I actually wanted to stream a Nintendo Direct from a couple days ago, and my mic was tripping, and I checked what was going on right now, and it was some stupid, but it's okay. Why is my thing not working? Hold on. Okay. Okay. Hold on. Still not able to really work on this. I think I haven't worked on it in like 3 days or something. So the plan for today is that I will go out for the first time in... When's the last time I went out? What did I do last Thursday? Today's Thursday. What did I do last Thursday? No, I was still inside, yeah. Last Wednesday? Yeah, last Tuesday was my birthday. On Wednesday, I went to somebody's place to somewhat celebrate it. On Thursday, I stayed home. Yeah, I stayed home to make my stuff. What's it called again? Also, by the way, if you're hearing sounds from outside, I can't do anything about it. Deal with it. What did I do again? Yeah, I made my book. I made I did some bookbinding, but till Saturday. And Sunday, I'm not sure what I did. Even this week was just a blur. Yeah, I haven't been out in a week. There were some days where I didn't even go out of my room at all. Only to go to the toilet or something. Yeah, I can't keep living like this. So the plan today is that I go outside, because I've been doing some research. The thing is, I wanted to continue doing some bookbinding, but I don't have any paper anymore. And I probably don't have any any material to make a cover or anything, stuff like that. And my nails, like my pins, aren't the best right now. Like I'm doing this with the most budget way possible, since I'm not really well versed in bookbinding. So yeah, so that's kind of my situation right now. And what I'm gonna do now is that basically for like yesterday I did some research on how to build a PC. It's always something I contemplated, since I saw some videos of some guys who made like really good looking PCs only through only using budgeted only using budgeted stuff. Oh, yeah, by the way, this cut right here, I made this the last time I worked on this project. To be frank, I have no clue how I'm gonna advance this. So what we're gonna do today is find some references. And something that I did very often was go on Instagram and find some references. Now, that being said, this is a cut I don't think I really got inspired, like I got off of a reference really. Like I went into it, I had an idea of how I wanted it to look, but I didn't actually go out of my way to look for a reference that looks slightly similar. But yeah, anyway, the plan now is that I go outside and I just do some window shopping, since I still have no money. And it bothers me. Even this morning I got an email, and it obviously said that I couldn't get a job, which is very, very, very painful. Hate everything about this. So yeah, I'm not sure what to do. because I'm not sure when I'll get some money, but in the state I'm at right now, it's very precarious. Because I'll need to have some money at some point to do something. Even right now, I would have loved continuing bookbinding, but I just don't have the paper for it. To an extent, I do, but um, well, not the type that I want. I don't know. Mm, okay. Yeah. So I'm at least trying to window shop and see what I could do with the things that are handed to me. Um. So yeah. I guess that's just gonna be a project that I wanna make. Before that, I'll have to make some money. Speaking of, let me check YouTube Studios, see how much I actually made. It's always gonna be only $100, but I think the last time I checked, I was at like $40. The only thing that's keeping me, quote, afloat, I say this very lightly when I say afloat, but the only thing that actually keeps me like, uh, that somewhat gives me that I could somewhat or absolutely not really rely on is YouTube Studio, and precisely um, learning how to animate Volume 1. That's horrible. Because I don't really want to. The last time I worked on it was like 3, 4 days ago. Wow. It's horrible to rely on a singular video in order to keep yourself afloat. Very precarious, and it sounds dangerous. These are sometimes when I thought, man, if I had posted more, or at least worked on a project for a long amount of time, I could have gotten something. But really, it feels pointless to have this mindset. I don't know. So yeah, it seems like yeah, I'm at $50. I'm not getting this money. And if I do, it's either I post something, it pops off, and I get it like next month, or I just wait and get it like in September or something. I won't be able to do anything. It's horrible because sometimes I really think about how I should have never actually talked about my YouTube stuff. Um, because they don't really understand my current state of mind when it comes to this animation stuff. And frankly, even when I think about it, like just like that, it kind of makes me sad. Because it's something that I've always lived with. It's the only thing that I've always known. It's the only thing that I always relied on whenever I didn't necessarily have anything that would keep me happy to an extent. And I'm an idiot. And keep opening programs. It's so annoying. I opened InDesign. Oh my goodness. Program of the devil. I'm just obliterated with Task Manager because I don't want to deal with this shit. Where is it? InDesign, nigga. Come on now. But yeah. One thing that I realized throughout my thoughts regarding my I don't know, like animation, drawing journey, let's say, is that it feels nearly as if thought all this time I've only been really into drawing animation because like as any other hobby, it just started off as something simple, something that you just took a lot of interest in, and it became just something, I wouldn't say perverse, but something um to fill up a void. I think I've talked about this on one of my streams. Probably the one when I was just yapping and what was it called? What was it called? Autumn Fields, whatever. Um, Plain Autumn. I don't know. I'm not sure what that word was called in Unity, but there was a stream where I was just talking for like 30 minutes straight, talking about why I stopped liking animation or something, and yeah, I went through a lot of thoughts. It's fairly introspective. This animation shit is some serious business. Like seriously. Um, it's actually insane. I'm only at page 2 of my storyboard. Storyboard is like what is it again? A 4x5 panel. I don't know. There's actually 20 panels per page, per double page. Oh, yeah, right. The music. Okay. It's been 13 minutes. I still haven't done anything. Oh. It's been 13 minutes and I still haven't done anything significant yet. I'm trying to adjust the volume because it was pretty loud. Okay. Yeah, I want to look for a reference actually. I hopped on Sakuga, but I didn't really think about what I was actually gonna look for. And to be honest, I still don't really know how to use references. Now that I think about it. It's so weird how I find all these cuts that I'm seeing, they are so impressive and well made and feel like otherworldly, but I can't help but think that they don't move me as much. They don't interest me, and to an extent. Like they are good. They actually do interest me, but they don't interest me enough to be inspired to go out there and actually make something similar. To make something similar, you know. At this point, I can't even call this a burnout anymore. It's nearly a complete lack of interest. You know what? Hold on. Let me show my screen. Yeah. Sorry, OBS. Okay. So, yeah, recently I saved a lot of Naruto stuff. It's actually not that much, but no, it's actually a fair amount. Okay, I just need to find a reference where there's like a wide shot and a peculiar perspective grid or something. Something similar that I could find. I'm not sure where or what. Does Nakamura have? Yeah, wait, maybe. hold on, let me look up. No, actually, saw a cut from Nakamura. So horrible to be able to be such an animation nerd, to be so invested into the stuff that people make, only to not make any animations. And I know that there are people who are really animation nerds, who are really interested into the people that create animations and all that stuff, in the production, etc. But I think just for me in my position, which only pertains to me and doesn't I'm not trying to make people feel insecure or anything because they are not making animations, but in my case I just find it unfortunate, especially because I do have the skill as well. I've done so many animations, not necessarily long projects, but so many small cuts, multiple cuts, just these little test animations, the whole learning how to animate series. And now I'm just at a stage where it just doesn't move me anymore at all. Maybe not at all, but I don't know. Just unfortunate, very unfortunate. By the way, I actually thought to myself that this stream was probably gonna be fairly short. Maybe I'll do a second one today. We'll see. Because I would like to stay outside still, because I'm very... I haven't done anything. Yeah, I'm not sure if I should. I could play around with background animation, but that would be a pain too, and I would have to reassign every single one of the labels that I added, which is very obnoxious. Could get inspired by this, but I'm fairly unsure if I'm being honest. But I will just try something. I'm trying to base myself around the storyboard too, but I don't know. I mean, we'll see. What bothers me too is that I've been very, very locked in when it comes to... Oops. Oh, what's happening? This is actually my program that I use. I forgot I was still on sakuga. I was about to draw, but you know, this is actually my program that I use to assign all the buttons. Why is that not? Oh no, I'm stupid. These are all the buttons that I assign for Clip Studio, so I can use my controller as a, what's it called, a light box, like stuff like to use like shortcuts and all that stuff. Like you have like space and blah blah blah. Anyway, I actually thought this was gonna be like, this is actually supposed to be a short stream today, since I'm going out later on, because I thought about going out around like, I don't know, like 1:30, because I have to go to my old school to just leave like a letter or some shit like that, I don't know. And then I wanted to go window shopping for old PCs, or if they do have some, then PC components. I really wonder if there are some stores where you can buy like PC components. That'd be great. That'd be really great, actually. Yeah, I thought so. Okay. By the way, what? Oh yeah, that's B layer. Okay. By the way, okay. Since I assigned this guy to A, you know, and this guy is B. This guy is B. So there's gonna be a time where he's gonna be down here. Hold on. Like he's gonna be down here, and what I'm trying to make is like let him hit him, except that he's behind the other guy, you know? And I'm wondering, this is something I've always wondered about about like the animation process, which is that, do you change the layers at some point? Because do you just start over? Because that's gonna just convolute everything. Because if you have like like if you make a lot of drawings, a lot of frames for a singular A folder, and they all belong to one guy, you know. When that guy, no, how do I say this? Like that's one person. When there's somebody behind another person, and they are labeled B, do they just change layers? Do they just end up becoming the A layer? Something I've always wondered. I'm not sure how animators do it, but it's, frankly speaking, very confusing, and I don't really get it. Yeah, actually, let me remove this. Yeah, I think doing a short stream also implies that I really have to just draw quickly. The idea was that he was gonna hit him like this. These are drawings, from what I've seen, even though I haven't drawn much, seems like I'm drawing a bit better than the other day. Yeah, the last few drawings that I made, I did them off stream, and I was really like, I think it was just a bad day, but I was really just thinking like, yo, what the fuck is even the point of me doing this? There's nothing I'm drawing. It's even like the stream that I made where I was drawing that one frame with the double sheets, where I didn't know what to think. Like, it was so unenjoyable that I just ended up ranting about Smash Bros. That's how uninterested I was. I just started ranting about a trailer that from like 20 years ago. What time is it? 12:31. Fair enough. Mind you, I'm still doing the keyframes. This is gonna be... I might have to omit some scenes, I think. So there's one part where there's one character that goes like completely all out, and there are some very auriful moments. I might have to mix some together or replace some with other scenes and frames and blah 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 and cuts. But this is, I'm really realizing I spent way too much time on this, and I think I have no choice but to actually omit some stuff, like to scrap some things, because it's just, yeah, no, I can't. Yeah, no, I can't. This is too much. Shit would like last 3 minutes, bro. Especially because of how bad I am with pacing. People would get bored. Oh goodness. People would get bored. Because I'm not good at making fast-paced things. Or making fast-paced animations. No, I'm just bad at making fast-paced stuff altogether. I don't know why, actually. It's always something I've wondered. Because, like, the reason, like, an animation like, what's it called? Empty, Sky the Truth that I made in 2024. Yeah, that I released in 2024. I don't think I've watched it in its full length in years probably. Only because I don't, yeah, only because I don't like it that well, and that's because of the pacing. Like I don't wanna, like for one, I feel like to an extent maybe I'm just critical towards myself, but I feel like that animation is kind of cringe. I don't know, to an extent, like trying to be like too deep, which is fine, of course, because it's always, you will always discover some stuff about yourself, and you will always, you're in an experimentation phase where some things might end up being perceived as corny, whether it's from others or yourself, and that's totally fine. It doesn't change the fact that I don't. It's not. It's an animation that I don't really want to watch. Um, I was trying to do something, bro. Yeah, even this looks kind of confusing because you can clearly tell that uh the one drawn in black just goes right above him. But if I'm being honest, I don't want to change the layers. It's too obnoxious. I don't want to do that shit. Okay. Guess piece by piece. I hope it will go a bit quicker once I get to the other passes. Is it the pass? No, it's like the different sections, like the breakdowns, the in betweens and stuff. Because my main goal as well is to just get that shit done. And telling yourself, especially with a project as ambitious as this, to tell yourself that you just want things to get done, kind of depressing, isn't it? Really goes to show how little I actually care about this project. Now I'm just imagining things in my mind of how the fight could actually turn out. I want him to like slide backward. It's very inconvenient to. Yeah, I should have done double perspective so I could know that he would like the perspective when he would slide like this. I don't think you could see it, so I'm trying to like this to have like the secondary perspective where I could actually tell like, oh yeah, he's trying to slide this way. Anyway, I'm trying to. He's gonna lose his guard in a way. Sometimes I think about my return to my socials, and I will probably, the way I think about it in my head, I want to, it probably won't happen the way I want it to happen. Uh, but I tend to think about it, and it's probably gonna disappoint some people, man. But I think they are understood. And I mean it in the sense where I want to talk about it in a way where I would really want to let people know that this animation stuff, it just doesn't interest me anymore. And I think it's an understandable thing. And to an extent, it's also a very sad case of wasted potential. In my case, it's just very unfortunate since it's something I've been doing for years now. Uh, and it's just, yeah. Just sad, sad sight. Very sad. What can I do? Mind you, I was way more invested in bookbinding. I did that shit for days, bro. I did that shit from I did that from Thursday to Saturday, and I think during this week too. I think on Tuesday again, I made another book from scraps of like paper that I had left still. Yeah, I was so invested. I was really invested. And now, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. What I mean is that just simply being more invested into another thing. Like, it's not even a matter of, I don't know, like, it's not like I'm depressed or something. It's just because I'm still capable of doing things that. I'm just capable of doing certain things. So it means that it has nothing to do with. There aren't any intrinsic components, you know? It's more so that, again, there's a lack of interest. That's how it feels, at least. Maybe it's even more complex, you know? You never know. I would love to know. But I don't know. For now, I don't know. These poses suck. No, if I don't have a reference. I'm like rusty. It's like telling a guy who was in a coma for months or years to do a marathon. Like the next day, in a way. I did draw for some bit at some point, but man, this shit does not move me respectfully. I deadass wonder if I'll actually get that shit done, cause like there has to be some kind of shift or like some I need to keep like have like some fucking shonen spirit on some never give up type shit to actually be moved enough to finish this, cause holy fuck, I don't know. This shit just doesn't move me. I think I made like four vignettes, four sketches right now, and it's been 34 minutes since I've been streaming. And it's like, what time is it? 42. It's been only 10 minutes. It feels significantly longer. Yeah, this is. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do this. But I don't want to lament neither. I think I should just stop lamenting, probably. Because if I keep thinking that this is like the worst thing ever, I will treat it as such, and I won't even be satisfied once I get done with this. Or it's just gonna take even longer to finish. That's also why I think, yeah, maybe I should have done something sooner. It'd be like that, okay? maybe you should destroy the ground. Really freeballing this, just freestyling an animation on some, like, okay. I want him to, oh yeah, right. I want him to get low. Some brolic shit. And then I want him to kind of jump, you know, like jump again like a gorilla or something. He's gonna like sidestep. Maybe I should have more fun. Is that the solution? Sounds very simple, but sometimes you don't realize when you're doing like a shit job. I wouldn't know since I haven't gotten a job yet, but maybe the idea is just to find enjoyment in the stuff that you don't enjoy whatsoever. You have to figure it out, you have to try out some things, you have to, in the end, keep things positive. Oh yeah, by the way, well, it's not even a by the way, it's just like something that low-key completely ruined my morning. But while I was looking up for videos of like budget PCs and people like building their own like PCs through thrifted pieces and stuff, I stumbled across a YouTube channel of a guy who did that stuff. He was at like 20,000 subscribers, and he really seemed like the type to really become big and be on some like upcoming YouTuber type of stuff. And I thought, yo, these videos are actually pretty informative, and it's kind of interesting to see the way he builds them. And very importantly, he builds them actually based off of the scraps that he finds and he has in disposition. They're not on some like, oh, I just found this, there was a YouTube comment that said, oh, I just found this random $100 PC in my vault, in my also very professional vault that I just had laying somewhere, and I just put a $100 CPU in it and now it's DIY. And it's like, bro, this is not like, do you know what DIY is? And it's pretty bothersome, especially for people who just want a PC but don't necessarily have the budget to have one, and so they would love to create their own but don't know how to. So like they would love to have an example. But yeah, anyway, it seemed promising, and I thought, oh, okay, he made like this $100 PC and stuff, and he wanted to make an upgrade based on that $100 PC later down the line. And there was a video that I saved then and stuff, and I thought, okay, yeah, let me actually check his channel, like, well, what other stuff he's posting and what other interesting stuff there is that he just does in general. And I peep his channel and stuff, and I see a video like all black, posted 9 months ago, goes something like, I must explain what happened. I think this was the title, the exact title. And off rip, it just had such a tone. He sounded so much more depressed and stuff. I was like, what the hell is going on? I just found you like 15 minutes ago. What happened? And it said essentially he opened up about his past traumas and the things that he had to go through as a child that essentially influenced the way he was living nowadays, which was in a very destructive and yeah, in a destructive manner and full of solitude, which is pretty bad. And it was the first thing that he prefaced to transition later down the line to a situation that he had where he basically, oh my god, bro, he basically groomed a 16-year-old. I wouldn't say grooming. It was more complex than grooming, but he had very inappropriate conversations with a 16-year-old, essentially in a place like where he felt very vulnerable, and he just let everything rip. He said the most vile shit ever, and oops, that's my phone. WhatsApp probably. Yeah, he said some really, really, really abhorrent stuff that you could never say to a child, you know. Because, and he admitted to these things because essentially they were in the Discord, of course. This is why I hate Discord. Anyway, they were on the Discord server, and basically with other people in the server, they had apparently these this gag, this running joke where they would go on voice chat, post some heinous shit, like some corny, edgy Guna stuff or whatever, and immediately delete it. And one time, at a time where he was in a very vulnerable state and in a place where he was about to break down, they did that shit again. And during that time, he just needed somebody to talk to, because he did go through. He didn't go into detail. We went through some stuff, and some stuff I really understand, where it's these things where you just get deep into your psyche and you don't know how you would ever get out of it, and so you just start contemplating about very bad and intrusive stuff that should never come out of your brain. Out of your, like, it should never leave past the brain stage, let's say, and should never become manifested. And yeah, and ultimately, it's not like he has explicitly acted upon his intrusive thoughts, but he essentially verbalized them, and it was really bad, especially since it was to target a 16-year-old. Like, he was in contact with a 16-year-old. First of all, just him interacting on a regular basis with a 16-year-old was bad enough, because essentially I say essentially a lot, but I don't know how to summarize things. I think that's a huge problem of mine, but he was already cooked the moment he got this much into contact with a 16-year-old. Because at the beginning, it was so that he basically had her making emotes for his Discord for free, and he said, nah, this ain't it, like, I gotta pay you for real, which is cool and stuff. But they just ended up starting to talk more, up to a point where he learned about her own bad experiences that happened to her, and I think he alluded to stuff like rape and all that stuff, and it pretty, like, he said, like, just imagine the worst thing that could happen to a girl like her, and you might probably be right. So I thought about that, and obviously you have sympathy for these people. You try to have, like, to try to help with them. You have to try to, you feel bad, you feel empathy for these people, you know, people who go through very awful stuff. Now, what do you do then when you hear these kinds of things? It most certainly isn't continuing the conversation. If anything, you should conclude the conversation with saying stuff like, I feel very sorry for you. Actually, yeah, don't say, if you need help, let me know, because you're on the internet. How the fuck are you supposed to know? Like, you can't be the helping hand or something. You are an adult on social media with an audience, so you have, like, a power dynamic. You have a power position. You're in a position of power. It's already bad enough, you know. So you should know that no, you should continue. But the thing about that is that they opened up about their sexual. She opened up about their sexual trauma that were similar to his. So being in a vulnerable and bad position from the start, he thought, man, I can finally relate to somebody. Just very unfortunate that it had to be a fucking 16-year-old, and he should have known what to do in that position. And the thing is, I have somewhat of sympathy for him, because this conversation extends to a point where we should really think about what we say to our boys or guys when it comes to them needing help. What I mean by that is that what I mean is, like, well, because pretty much we live just in a society where we don't get aid. We are taught that it's bad that we get help, and it's something that I had to deconstruct for myself, and by letting people trust by putting trust in others, to not by not, man, how do I describe this? Well, by not like freeballing everything and thinking that I could do everything by myself. And there's still some things that are hard to me. Obviously, I won't get into detail, but not everyone's life is easy. But there are limits, you know, in the end. But what's important to point out is how, Jesus, I'm doing this again. What's just simply important is to point out that we live in a society, in a system, call it patriarchy, call it capitalism, whatever. But the answer is true. We live in a society where we are not allowed to express ourselves, to express ourselves the way we want to express ourselves. In the case of guys, it gets to a point where it is actively encouraged by the system that we disregard any emotional work. And it can lead people to some shit. They could hurt themselves, they could hurt others. And it just comes to a certain point where you just lose control and you just do some fuck shit. And while it is bad and I can feel sympathy for that, it still doesn't justify whatever you did to hurt the other person. You disregard it. It's nearly selfish. You disregarded all that you disregarded the safety of others to reinforce your very bad and unhealthy coping mechanisms, which just don't really work, you know. And yeah, I mean, oh shoot. Yeah, but in the case of that guy, it's just how horrible, bro. How it's unfortunate. It's really sad. It's unfortunate, sad, and just it didn't need to happen. It's also an example of how our society has put us in the position to how our system has brought us to this. How do I say this? Just yeah, let me think. how our system, our society has constructed us into having certain belief systems that actively hurt us. But at some point, you are still, especially him, there's just something to be acknowledged, which is that he is still an adult. Like, once it really goes out of your realm, there isn't really an excuse. These thoughts and all that stuff, they have to be left to be not manifested. They have to stay in your brain until you have the capacity to find help. And he tried getting help. He tried going to therapy, but he kind of fucked up by not going to the appointment and stuff, which was kind of stupid, for being honest. Maybe there was something I didn't understand, but I just thought, like, bro, just go to your appointment at some point. But it's not easy, you know? There are just some things I probably don't understand, since I'm not really in his position, and he had a pretty rough life, apparently. But I can excuse people only so much. Simply acting out his horrible thoughts and emotions and stuff, unjustifiable. Simply stuff that should have never left his head whatsoever. Like, oh my god, like, I had so many thoughts, feelings and stuff in my head while I was hearing all that, and it was so horrible. It was really horrible to listen to all that stuff. Why did I close my sketchbook? I need my storyboard. It was very horrible to listen to all that stuff for like 30 minutes straight. That only felt, I will say, I did feel sympathy for him, because for one, he kind of started off by the preface of him being having past childhood trauma that was unresolved, which led him to a very dark path, a lonely dark path. But I only got to have sympathy from the moment he got traumatized as a child to up until the point where he heard that 16-year-old. Like, and there were moments where things from the 16-year-old where you could argue that they were somewhat manipulative or stuff or something, where she made him admit some things or tell some stuff in order for her to screenshot them and then expose him, essentially. But inexcusable. You can't do anything. Like, he did some shit, bro. It was wild, because at some point I feel like it was something that can I say that I forgot? Or that I just didn't understand? But it was so crazy what he said at some point, which was, he said that he, first of all, they talked a lot about like impulsive and intrusive thoughts, where he would imagine like sexual fantasies of the people of his friends and the people that he has close to him and stuff. And first of all, crazy thing to admit, to a 16-year-old, like a 16-year-old, like, come on, bro. And what can I say at this point? It's just horrible, bro. It's just bad. But no, I got distracted. I want to talk about something else. Yeah, yeah. Basically, they were talking about like very explicit things, and it just got to a point where he talked about these sexual fantasies that he had that he didn't want to have, as he said apparently that he didn't want to have, but he admitted really for the first time to somebody. Like, this is stuff that you tell a therapist, not a 16-year-old, first of all. Like seriously, there's so many things wrong, bro. He really let himself go. And what happened, but let's say it shouldn't have happened. Is it useful to say that? Probably not, but again, he, and as a lot of commenters said, he should have known better. But that conversation just deviated to a point where apparently there was like some sort of convention that some of his Discord, his Discord was gonna go to, and that's why the 16-year-old told him that she wanted to meet him there and spend more time together with him. He said that he wasn't comfortable being around a 16-year-old without any adults around, because otherwise he wouldn't have done that. Like, he wouldn't have hung with her together. Where you say, yeah, fair enough. Like, it's more than fair. It should, like, you don't even need to say fair enough. This is how it should be. But for every reason, I don't remember for what reason. But at some point, he said that, like, they said that, yeah, that was probably gonna go. They were probably gonna travel, like they go to that place with a car, and they were probably gonna be. He was probably gonna offer her a ride and stuff, which just led him in this sexual context, where he said like some. He did say he said some very explicit stuff, but since he didn't really say it, and it's probably somewhere on the internet, like on Twitter or something. He was something that I only understood in the comments is that he essentially insinuated to her that he was gonna rape her in his car, and when I read that, I was like, I couldn't believe it, because I did give him not necessarily benefit of the doubt, but I couldn't make strong conclusions since there wasn't anything substantial that I could actually take out of this whole conversation. Meaning that I couldn't, like, I didn't have an actual idea of what he said that was really that bad. He did say explicit stuff to her, but sometimes I can't really quantify it. It's already bad enough that he said some explicit stuff, but this, I didn't think it would go to that point. I thought some shit like, oh, he was probably like talking about how much he goons and some shit, obviously some stuff that you should not be talking about with a child, or which he actually talked about too, because he admitted that he also had like just a hypersexual tendency, and it was like part of his trauma and all that stuff, which is a real and true thing, which is horrible. And then again, it's still nothing. There's nothing, really nothing, that justifies everything he did. There's nothing that justifies in his past trauma. No, I don't know how to talk, but everything he did, it doesn't justify that. The fact that he got had bad experiences, really bad experiences, traumatic experiences in his childhood. So, oh brother, this is fucking crazy, dog. Like, I can't believe it. This, like, I just wanted to look up some budget PCs, man. This is how it all started. don't know how I got to that point. And I don't know what else to say. I was beyond, like, for starters, I was like beyond confused. I was like, what happened? What happened? And off rip, I was like, no way, did he have a YouTuber moment? Did he groom a child? And I still didn't believe it, because how do you get from this kind of thing, especially with especially with a channel where he's at 20,000 subscribers, which is a good thing. But I usually see these kinds of things. Oh, this is loud actually. Hopefully you got to hear me. But how do you get to? I can just start it off. Okay, yeah. I did see that his first post was like 4 or 5 years ago. But I thought this kind of shit just happened to like big YouTubers because they did some bullshit and like they were in a position of power where they just let themselves go and let their influence, let their online presence and the voice that they have influenced them into end up doing some stupid stuff with children. But this is a guy with 20,000 subs. Like, bro, your community isn't even like humongous. 20,000 people is still insanely big. But in an internet metric, it's like average, more or less, more than average, let's say. But man, not gonna lie, I was kinda scared to see the comment section because of how critical people were gonna be, and oh my god, the jokes too. Like I nah, it was bad. It was bad. Bro, there was one guy who said that, yeah, seems like low budget, like he said something along the lines of low budget PCs aren't the only thing he's trying to look a lower number for when it comes to prices or something. And it was like, oh, dog, bro, like, come on, man. And it is kind of funny. Yeah, it is funny, but it's like, Jesus Christ. You can't say anything about it. It's not like he's in the wrong, like the guy who was commenting that. But man. No, that low-key ruined my morning, just hearing all that stuff, because it got me to thinking too, and I wanted Reed to see the complexities of each position, like the fact that he was done this badly as a child, like the side of where he had some like just this whole unresolved childhood trauma, where you could argue could have some sympathy for him, but which still justifies nothing of the thoughts that he should have repressed, that he acted upon. It does sound contradictory when I say that he should have repressed his thoughts, but again, he should have never, like, it's still his responsibility as an adult, and especially with somebody with a actually, especially as an adult and with somebody who has influence in the place of power, you know, like a position of power. What time is it? 13. To call secretariat again, but essentially I have to go in like 15 minutes more or less, then I can go out. But I haven't done shit in an hour. This cut is very hard to organize, for being honest. Guess he's just dodging. Nah, it was bad, bro. It's just that I just wanted to see some PCs, man. This is when I thought, like, why even do all this when I broke anyway? We went from budget to PCs to finding out a guy groomed yeah, a guy just did some fuck shit with a child. Just him, he should have just stopped it altogether the moment he got into contact with a girl. That was like with a child, with a 16-year-old. Should have ended there. As in, like she did the emotes thing, and reasonably enough, he was like, "Nah, you deserve more. Like you should be paid and some shit." Pull up your, pull out your Cash App or something, since Americans use that, and let me pay you. That's it. Like, dog, I don't get it. Like, there are a lot of, like, especially, like, I don't even get how you can even interact with a kid. Like, he's probably, like, in his 30s, too, like, and 20s or something like that. And one thing I just simply don't understand is how they are even capable to talk to children. Not in the sense where you're like, oh, it's a child, that's disgusting, or that stuff, but simply speaking, when you're in a conversation with a kid, it's like, how are you even entertained? I don't understand, because I remember I've had a lot of like you could tell it was like children like DMing me about some, I don't know, like social medias, like I had like this like kid, he was maybe he was like 15, 16 or something, who started DMing me, sending me some stuff about like animation things, and basically he really looked up to me for some reason, I think, and I guess he wanted to be like some buddy kind of stuff. And at some point, I just stopped responding to his text because I couldn't. Like, it was just not. Oh no, it didn't entertain me. It was very one sided, and it didn't. I just couldn't, especially because of his age. I don't talk to anybody on social media, you know. So I don't understand the thought process of him actually like no, I don't understand, bro. I don't know. It just makes sense. I remember too, like there was a time on Threads where on my Threads account where I just started like, I don't know, like venting on some bullshit, because it was on when was it again? It was in around Christmas where I started Doodle to Live again, and the time before that it was like the holidays, winter holidays, and I felt absolutely miserable. I saw nobody. It was cold as fuck. I had somebody in my room for like a month and a half. I was not in the best. I wasn't in the best place basically. So I started writing some stuff, and I ended up having somebody actually responding to the stuff that I talked about, which I won't mention, of course, because I'm an idiot. And they started DMing me, and they told me that they were 17. And I was like, yo, I don't do that kind of stuff, you know. I don't talk to kids, dog. Simple as, like, why would I talk to a child? It's not even like on some family function shit where you're just trying to like kick it with some I don't know, like some little cousin or like some friend's child or whatever, some friend's little bro or little sis, and you're like on some haha kiki haha type of shit. Like being on some buddy, like on some like yeah, let's get close type shit with a child. The person said they were 17. Mind you, there was a time when I was like 21. Um, when I was 21, and I told him like, yeah, okay. Um, I wasn't even entertained enough in the conversation, but in a way, he insisted on keeping it going, and I responded like every time, like 10 hours later. I talked about the games that he tried, like he played, because I was talking about Final Fantasy VI, which I was playing at the time. I think. No, I started it. No, I don't know. But yeah, let's say I started it, and he just ended up like sending me a list, like a list of games that he was playing or something like that. And I was like, oh yeah, you know ball and some shit, like very like dry girlfriend type shit, like weeks before you break up on some shit, like you like not invested at all, as I should. And even then, like even if they said something interesting, I still would go like, nigga, no, like stop talking to me. I'm not interested in you whatsoever. I don't. You are 17. What the fuck am I gonna talk about with a 17-year-old? Yeah, granted, we talked about like tried to spark up a conversation surrounding video games, but no. Just no. How are you entertained with a conversation with the 17-year-old? Let alone a 16-year-old girl. Like a 16-year-old girl? Like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm not making this. Like, this is crazy, you know. This is wild. This is actually wild. No, I don't get it. I don't get it. So yeah, ultimately, even as I'm saying all this stuff, I'm feeling less and less sympathy. Like all his childhood trauma stuff, it does lead to a great conversation surrounding just male's mental health. But oh my god, like no, at that point, no, like with the shit he did and said, fuck no. Mind you, something I haven't even mentioned, the bro had the dude, bro, no, hell no, that ain't my bro, but bro, nah, dude, this man, I don't know how old he is, probably in his 30s nearly, because he talked about having issues for 2 decades or something, or maybe that insinuates that it has something happened in his adolescence or pre-teens or whatever. Anyway, he's probably like end of his 20s, early 30s. And bro had a girlfriend, as he said, for over a decade. And he said that he didn't want to lose her because he had the thought that him just talking about his issues, his trauma with this girl, would make her feel unattracted to her, and thus she would leave him. And that's honestly like trust issues. Like I get it. Like it's awful. It's unhealthy. It's the worst feeling ever. What else? It's just that it's something that is not something that I don't know how to explain this. It's just something. It happens basically, but maybe not to this extent. But it happens, and it's hard to trust people, even though they've been around you for a long ass time. And obviously, I don't know their relation, but I'm just simply thinking to myself how there was just no. In 10 years, there was just not a single moment where y'all just opened up about shit and the struggles y'all been through and how y'all could support each other, like just help one another and all that stuff. that low-key confuses me. Because eventually when in the aftermath of him telling the girl that he was gonna, like straight up rape her, in his car, very intrusive thought. Sincerely, I don't think he's a pedophile. Like, honestly, he just acted upon some fuck shit. He had whatever kind of bullshit was going on in his head and manifested that verbally, which should have never happened, and which is something that a 16-year-old should never hear. And nah, very bad. But I don't know what I want to say, but yeah, nothing justifiable, and he could have gotten help if it got to a certain point like this. It like sometimes you gotta place your stakes, because if you don't, you gotta deal with the consequences, which is letting loose of your control. You didn't even put much effort into going to therapy, neither, because every time you would just miss an appointment, and yeah. So yeah, really, 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 really bad. Like, goodness gracious. Like, goodness gracious, man. I see potential in this, if I'm being honest. More or less. Probably kind of uninteresting, but whatever. It's actually insane I'm still on the storyboard. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Just so many cuts. At least the page that I'm making right now, there's like a cut that takes like 3/4. Like the one I'm working on, it takes up like 3/4 of the page, which is somewhat reassuring. No, this is horrible. Like, that ass. This is like, man. Like, oh my god. Like, oh my god. Guess I'm gonna cut that cut a bit shorter. This is only 2 seconds of an interaction, but I want him to like hit him like really hard, you know. Nah, dog. Like, no. I really had a level of sympathy at the beginning while I was watching the video too, but it just got, it's convoluted, the right word, just got insane to an extent. It just got insaner, and then reading the comments, I was like, yeah, if you see it from that perspective, fair enough. Like, more than fair enough. Like, this is bad and shouldn't be endorsed, justified, whatever. Just hope he's doing better, because apparently he hasn't posted in like 9 months. And he did say in the video that he was probably gonna come back in a year or so. If I'm being honest, he probably shouldn't do that. Yeah, maybe he should have. He did say he'd stay off the internet, and come back like later or whatever. But no, do not come back, bro. It's not a good idea. Whatsoever. Do not come back. Goodness, man. No, it's so horrible. It's genuinely so horrible. Hate it. I get it. I'm still talking about this. It's just like these kinds of situations. It's fucking social media, like fucking YouTubers. How do they always end up in these fucking situations where they just end up fucking talking to minors? Like, what the fuck? Every time? God. Try to make him rush. But yeah, guess in conclusion, don't talk to kids, bro. I don't care who you are. it's crazy how, like, in certain spaces people still accept you, because to an extent you could say he had a certain amount of value that people looked for, which was his thrifted PC stuff, like his, which was pretty cool, which was the only reason I was getting, like, I was getting interested in his account. And now, and the thing is, now in this community he was immediately being uh, just casted out, because obviously. But I'm thinking about other communities where, when you have some sort of intrinsic value, more or less, people people will not care. And I'm talking about the underground community. Once again, let's go. Nine Vicious, what the fuck? And that blood guy. Insane allegations. Stuff that keeps getting brought up, like some heinous, like some really some devil shit. Also pedophilia. Niggas will not, they will not give a fuck. Niggas will not give a fuck as long as you post good music, which they don't. Not even the music can, like, music cannot ever justify whatever the fuck you're doing with children. And even then, they don't even make good music for people to glaze to glaze somebody this hard. This reminds me of when people were glazing Tory Lanez, because there was this whole Megan Thee Stallion situation where this dumbass shot her foot, and now he's facing, like, was it 20 years in jail? Crazy. What confuses me is that, first of all, you niggas don't listen to fucking Tory Lanez. You're just trying to make it a bigger conversation, which is a pointless conversation, which is some shit about, like, women get apparently more privileges in society or some bullshit. Man, I really can't draw this. And as a result, y'all just start glazing this motherfucker for no reason. It's so pathetic. It's so pathetic, where it's like, are you trying to project your own grievances and insecurities onto celebrities that don't know you? Like, the hate I've seen from Meg is like, it's so ridiculous. It's so fucking dumb. It's genuinely so stupid. Like, she gets her foot getting shot, and people just treat her as if she did the thing that, like, as if she lied or some shit. Because, yeah, you could see the injuries. There was a lot of proof too. There were audios. The bro was cooked. Even in jail, he admitted that he did that shit. Because there was, like, a leaked call from some girl that he knew that was part of the situation, if I remember correctly. And yeah, like, he admitted to that shit. I'm trying to make him rush, but the perspective makes it really hard to imagine it. I'm trying to. Something like that, I guess. Right now, he's really leaning into that shit. Yeah, apparently, as long as you make. I was about to say good music, but. Let's say, as long as you make. As long as you make. Quote, enjoyable music, apparently you can do whatever you want. Like, bro. And sometimes you really gotta set things, like, we gotta be truthful to ourselves too. Because this whole Michael Jackson pedophilia thing, I always had the thought that it was, like, debunked or something, and that this shit never really happened. People just created, like, agenda surrounding him because of his appearance, and people want to look for drama and blah blah blah. But frankly, when I saw that fucking picture of him on that jet with Epstein, I've seen enough. And I remember there was a photo where there was him with like kids. Apparently, it was his kids, but it was still in like people were going like, nah, well, what the fuck? He was with his kids and stuff. But it's like, okay, why is he on that fucking island then? What the fuck does it change whether it's his kids or not? Matter of fact, it's probably even worse that his kids were there. And yeah, let me be true. This, like, I can't endorse that shit either. I mean, right. I mean, now he's dead, so what is there? What more is there to say? And his music is iconic and will remain so. And it saddens me because it's horrible to like the music of somebody who did some shit like that. And always you have the guys going with this stupid ass separate the art for the artist shit. And I don't believe in that shit. I don't believe in that shit. Because you cannot separate art from the artist. Because whatever comes out from you what is created from you comes from you. Doesn't necessarily mean that you have the, I don't know, like, I think about Tyler the Creator, who talked about crazy edgy shit when he was little. And it doesn't mean that he explicitly wants to do that, but it still goes to show at what state of mind he was. You could somewhat deduct the state of mind he was, and within the context in which he was dropping all these stuff. I mean, like, I don't know, 18, feels ostracized from his community, tries to create his own community, that each has some issues, and then they are expressing through music that could probably resonate to people, but he releases in a fictional state. Like, he releases in a way where, like, he makes essentially making music where he, just creates these fictional worlds where some crazy shit happens, where he, I don't know, like, just rapes and eats his crush that rejected him from prom, you know? Now, see, this is fucking crazy, and I don't know what the fuck he had going on when he was 18 creating that shit. But to an extent, there's always a reason as to why you created this. It doesn't mean that and the reason isn't because you want to do these things, but there's always a reason, which comes from you, which means that you can't separate the art from the artist. I don't know. Could make some fictional shit like that too. And if I tell the reason and I say some shit like, yeah, that shit interests me, like, it's interesting to see it, to analyze the perspective of some guy who would do some shit like that, bro. I guess I can do that, but what the fuck? I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's, people are weird, bro. It's already an hour 30. I think I'm gonna stop soon. Yeah, it's 37. Yeah, I need to go out soon. I mean, I have a lot of time to give that letter, but yeah. Holy, bro. Holy. We are living in bad times. Fuck Nine Vicious and fuck Blood 2. Fucking weirdos. I hate the underground community, seriously. It really takes white people and weirdos with no backbone to let people do whatever they want. It takes people with bad taste to let people who don't know jack shit about music, and no, actually I'm talking like a pretentious person right now, but just people who don't study the craft. It feels like music is one of the only few things that people just refuse to learn. At some point, you just get to a point where you have to learn animation, where you have to learn how to draw, where you learn how to bookbind. Because how the fuck are you gonna bookbind without knowing how to do all these knots? You're just gonna go into it? No, like even animation, like obviously you start off by doing some weird whatever stuff, and you're like, this shit is ass. Let me make something better. This is the thought process of everybody, and obviously they end up studying some people. But it gets to a point where it's an issue when the only references they have is fucking Chief Keef, Young Thug, and Cardi. Maybe someone else, like Uzi probably, and a couple of few others. But it's really like Chief Keef, Young Thug, Cardi. Like these are especially Cardi. And it gets to a point where it's like, bro, all y'all niggas sound the same because y'all keep biting from the same guy. It's not even like they are musically influenced, but they actually adopt their persona, and niggas eat that shit up. So when you have a guy like Slayer, who's like fucking, like, he's inspired by these kinds of artists as well, but he puts his own twists and stuff, and he has his own inspirations, and also has interests when it comes to, I don't know, like video games or whatever. He man, I hate the underground, but you have a guy like this, and he just gets clowned for it, for not sucking another guy's dick, and for doing his shit, you know. Oh goodness, I hate the underground. This is, yeah, this is, yeah. What more is that to say? Really, such an awful community, deadass. White people ruin their shit too. I will say that. Saw a tweet about, because it not only comes down to underground, like the underground rap that we know nowadays and stuff, but it really also comes down to underground that we know, other forms like groups like Death Grips and stuff. I mean, okay, I would say they're underground, but they just fit in a certain niche. And yeah, I saw a tweet where people talked about Death Grips for whatever reason, and it was mostly about how people in the people tried, like, modern Death Grip shows were like the most insufferable shit ever, because of how people are so eager to fish for attention whenever they can, and it's like just horrendous, just annoying. You have like people in like, oh, there was a picture of like those white boys like dressed in some Weenie Hutch Jr. ass fit because they are in the Death Grips concerts, which creates this contrast, this dichotomy of, oh wow, I'm such a little child, but I'm going to a Death Grips concert, this hard experimental industrial sound. Oh my god, what, you know, like it's just trying not only trying to be funny, which essentially never works, but it's also not taking seriously the craft of these people, of their art. Like, it's really as if, like, it's really like, I saw somebody saying like, not infantilizing, but just it's not taking, it's just essentially just not taking black art seriously. And he's right. He is absolutely right. Because like there was also a concert, I think it was by Mike. There was like one underground rapper who does like, I think, conscious rap or something. And you had these guys, like, they're just trying to garner attention. Like they're, you know, it's those kinds of jokes that you see on Instagram where like, there was a post one time, like from a couple years back, was like, yeah, Kendrick Lamar's mosh pits would be the people being in the library with books and shit. And it's funny, but you don't enact these kinds of things in real life. You don't do that, because it's just disrespectful altogether, and it makes me wonder, like, do you even why are you here? What is the point of this? Who are you doing this for? For some TikTok, like, just for some TikTok or something? Like, this is it's just weird. So yeah, just strange. I don't know why I talked about this. I mean, yeah, fuck the underground. White people ruined that shit. And yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm just gonna. I feel like I'm doing shit. I'm just gonna end this cut here. This is more interaction and not very long. It's like what, barely 3 seconds. Then he's gonna go off screen or some shit. I don't know. Yeah, initially it was 4 seconds. Just change some interactions between the storyboard and what actually happened. There's gonna be a lot of camera movement, like just the camera like following like here and you know. And let me do some fucking window shopping already. It's great because I got to learn a lot about computers than I initially knew within like a 15-minute time frame. Well, actually more since I had to take notes. But like I finally got to understand what a CPU, a GPU, what RAM actually is, like, well, what all these components actually are. I always heard motherboard this, motherboard that. What the hell is a motherboard? Why is... Oh, no, I'm not doing that joke, but the fuck got a mother got to do with any of this? I was about to do a joke with board, but like why is oops, like why is a mother skateboarding or something? Fuck that shit. Yeah, yeah, let me end it here on some shit. Fuck it. Yeah. Will I stream today? Who knows? Anyway, I think there was another thing I wanted to say. Let me think. Yeah, fairly bad morning all around. And this is all self-inflicted. This is all my fault. I had no reason to continue watching this video. It was like, I have nothing to do with this thing, with this story that the guy told. I was just here for some PCs, and yeah, what's great too is that I got to learn a lot about PCs. That's it, I guess. I don't know. I still have no money, so what the fuck am I even talking? Okay, yeah, let me get out this bitch.